Hey, Renz, I am here sitting with Rod Blackhurst, the director of Dolly. This was a horror movie I saw during Fantastic Fest, and I know if you know me, I've been telling you about it because it's such a great movie. So I'm here talking with Rod today. Rod, the first question I have for you is, what came first, the design of Dolly or the story of it? Because it's like you always see like these movies, like all the horror movies, they have like these iconic characters, and you're always wondering like, did they come up with the design of the character first, or just go straight into the story and then figure out how they're going to do it? So how did the Dolly come to be?
Well, we knew that from the minute we started writing it that we were going to have a masked, uh, you know, villain, for lack of a better term. But the what our villain or Dolly, the character, represents is the fear that our protagonist is like facing, right? Like a young woman, facing motherhood and wondering if they might end up in their life being a monster like their mother was to them. And then here they are meeting a life-size monster who happens to love their mother and wants to be a mother. And and he- so so that's where we begin, right? You have this like collision of two people that are never going to be on the same page. Um, but there is a reason why anybody wears the mask, like why anybody puts something on that obfuscates something beneath it or hides something. Um, and I think ultimately what Dolly looks like, yes, was written in the script, but the reason why Dolly ends up looking so remarkable on screen is, yeah, you can have the idea, but then you rely on all these other collaborators to bring it to life. And the Dolly mask looks as great as the Dolly mask does because of this guy Dan Martin in the UK and his company 13 Finger Effects. He works a lot with Ben Wheatley. He works a lot with the Cronenbergs. I think he's doing a Jason Statham film right now. He's an incredible fabricator and designer. And so you have an idea, but the execution of it is far better than the idea you have in your head because your collaborators are
Mhm.
better at what they do
Yeah,
than what I could do.
right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's insane, right? I have these masks. I have some here in Chicago. I have one here in Chicago. It's insane to me, like like I don't know, like how cool they are. And I still feel like I'm just a kid who got to have an idea that didn't just live as a drawing or an illustration inside of your binder,
Right.
or inside of your notebook. Here it is, come to life. And like I hope that in time people love it as much as some of those other masked characters are that I've grown to love and so many others have grown to love too. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
You talked about the idea of writing something down and just having it there, and then working with other people to bring it to life. So for you, when you're writing this, you're obviously imagining how it's going to look in your head, and
Yeah.
you do write it over and over, and it keeps changing. So what was the one scene or the one moment in this that after you wrote it down, you're like, I can't wait to see how this looks, and then once you saw it, you're like, it looks a lot better than I thought.
I mean, the whole movie I think looks better than what it was. Like, and again, that's just the product of like incredible people like applying their craft to it. Um, I I don't know. Like, yeah, I will say when we first wrote the movie, it was a response to like industry frustrations and going, well, we're going to write a film that we can make. Everyone was telling us what we couldn't make. So we were like, well, we'll write a film that takes place during the day in woods because it's cheap and with the least number of characters because that's the cheapest way to make something. And I think even when we first started trying to make it, it was like probably would have been even more low budget than, I mean, any independent film is low budget. Like, don't get me wrong, unless you're like A24 or Neon, but those are studios by and large. For us independent filmmakers, we don't have the resources or the institutional framework that they have. Um, so the thing that I'm most surprised by from what we wrote down was just that it existed all, and it exists in a far better way than what we imagined, right? Like, and again, I think if as a filmmaker or any creative person, when you have an idea, and then it like one plus one suddenly equals three, you go, oh man, that works, right? Like, but if it goes the other way, you go, something's not working here. And like at every turn, every phase of this process, from writing the franchise, from writing the character backstories, from writing the horrific, brutal collisions that happen on screen, it keeps getting better, and that to me is a sign that it's working. So
Very awesome. Speaking of franchises, um, this might for if you haven't watched this, I was going to say pause it and then come back because the end credit song hints at what might come. So has that already been like planned out and written out, or is it just like wait and see what happens with this one, and then hopefully we'll go on through that?
Well, both things are true. Like before we started, when we started writing this, we wrote out like a massive universe
Okay.
because everything is intentional. The way I work as a filmmaker, it's like it's thoughtful, right? It's like, well, I need to know who these people are, why they're doing what they're doing, where they came from, where Dolly, all these things, right?
Yeah.
And because everyone's going to have those questions, because that thoughtfulness then informs everybody's decisions. Why does the house look the way it looks? So my production designers are going, why are these things there? Max, the Impaler, wants to know is Dolly like. Who is Dolly? Why is Dolly? Why are we starting at this point?
Mhm.
And this film starts where it does because again, it was the affordable place to begin. Um, at the same time, like I'm just a dad trying to make it in the world. I have two kids. I live
Mhm.
in Nashville, and when you're an entrepreneur, I run my own company. I've produced all of my own movies. You're going, well, I need to make a living doing this. It's not a hobby, right? Like, and I'm getting better at it, and I want to grow with it, and I want to have this relationship to my work forever and ever. I think about it like kids. You want your kids to, once they turn 18, do well in the world and be happy and prosper and come back and visit you. You want them to call you. You
Yeah.
want them to come back for the holidays. Like, and so I go, well, if I can take care of, if I can raise my child right now, like maybe that will come to be. So I don't know what will happen going forward.
Uh-huh.
That we have a map, we have the ideas, we know what it is. Um, but in order for that to come together, the film needs to be successful, right? Like people, and we also want to know what people like and want out of it.
Right.
There's still time for us to incorporate those things. The band at the end is just also a band that I put together to record all the music for the film
Mhm.
because you don't have time or money to license music. So the solution is, well, write your own music.
Yeah.
And then have a fun tip of the hat in the way that happens for those who haven't seen it or who will see it. Like we're just trying to have fun like
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's funny too because like there's a moment when I think it's like the park ranger when she finds it, and he mentions something like, "Oh, they've seen another one," and I'm like, "Wait, what does that mean?"
There's breadcrumbs everywhere in the
Yeah.
movie, right? There's like all these little clues. Like it's like, oh, it's there for a reason.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So when you watch it, pay attention or watch it multiple
Yeah,
times
with
and
you,
catch
you're picking
everything.
up on it. You're noticing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because as I watch it, I'm writing notes, and I'm like, I'm like, what does that mean? But yeah, no, but it's great. You did bring up the father's thing, and then one thing on Fandas that we try to do is always try to talk about like the values that we instill in our children and what
mm.
kind of how we want them to grow in the world. So you kind of mentioned that a little. So what are some of the values that you are instilling on your kids?
Man, that rejection is not pejorative unless you let it feel that way to you or be that way to you, right? Like I have my oldest daughter is in the movie.
Yeah.
She plays a little kid in the movie, and she played third grade basketball this year, and the team was not good, and every game was hard, right? She didn't want to go to the games, and I was like, listen, like the majority of things you do are going to be losses in the statistical sense, right?
Mhm.
Like in like, but you can't think about them that way, right? Like these are not that like there's something you can learn from this, learn about who you are, why you're doing things, and how you can grow from that. And that's really hard because I've seen it in her playing out right now. She's
Right.
like, and I'm going, man, the majority of my life as a filmmaker and as a person trying to make their way are defeats or like are things that like aren't outright victories, right?
Yeah.
But and like I'm going, but that doesn't matter because like you are not those things, and those are not going to be the only thing you do. Yes, you're going to have a lot of them more often than not, but like that's okay. Like and smile in the face of that, and like
Yes.
pick yourself up and keep going. Like and I mean. And that's again my lived experience as an artist and as a
Uh-huh.
filmmaker. And we have two girls, and like we talk about this all the time. I know she's not learning about it this morning because she called me. We got her a landline recently,
Okay.
actually just for her birthday, and she has her last two games of the season this Saturday, and she doesn't want to go. And I'm like, no, you also have to see it through,
Yeah.
right? Like you wanted to play basketball.
Yeah.
I get it. It might not be your sport, but like you're gonna see it through. You like intentionality, right? Like, and it's so you're gonna learn some stuff along the way, and that's okay.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Last question I want to ask you is that you're in Chicago right now. What is your favorite movie or television show that's based in Chicago or filmed in Chicago?
Oh my gosh, The Fugitive. Like the fugitive, well, it's The Fugitive or The Dark Knight. Like, I mean, I, I once worked on. I shot behind the scenes for a music video that filmed in Chicago, maybe in 2000. I'm drawn 2007 or eight, and we filmed on Lower Wacker at night with a process trailer, and a lot of the crew had just worked on The Dark Knight, and like I, I was like a kid in that video rental store again, getting to like hear about those stories. It was the best. I hope I think it was Lower Wacker, and I think it was at night, and we had a police escort, and it was all, and like they were talking about filming all the Batmobile scenes, and I was like, holy shit, like this is the coolest. What's yours?
Mine, I would say The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
But
okay.
growing up,
Look at that, dude.
but growing up, it Blues Brothers. Every time,
Oh, okay,
that's one of
yeah,
those
yeah,
movies that whenever it's on, I drop what I do and I just sit in front of the TV and watch it.
yeah, dude. Right. We're all on a mission from God.
And it's funny too because my music teacher in grammar school was one of the. It's funny because like when you talk to people from like that era, it seems like everyone was an extra in that final scene of the military running into the building. So that was my music teacher. He was like, "Yeah, I was in there running around there," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So it's like everyone I would be like, "Yeah, I was in that scene too," and I was like, "So yeah."
Dude, I have the gaffer of Dolly is also the gaffer on Blood for Dust is here. He works on the Bear, and he works on and like it's just like it seems like I don't know, Chicago people like have the grit and the like I don't know they yeah, they make rad things that are just I don't know that like despite the odds exist. Like Blues Brothers is a good example. Like the audacity of that film is remarkable. That's a good answer. Shit, I'm gonna add that to my pile. I just our location sound guy drove into town, or he's also my composer Nick Bone. He has like a Pontiac vibe that like the wheels might fall off. It has bullet holes. He bought it uses bullet holes in it, and he drove it into Chicago last night and like valeted it at like this nice hotel down on like downtown. And I was like, literally, he wears Ray-Bans all the time, even at night. And I'm like, dude, do you understand the full circle moment here? Like you're honoring. He's like, oh well, dude, it's not lost upon me. He's like, that's the best. He's like, that's one of the best movies ever. So, good answer. Damn. So, Dark Knight though, or The Fugitive. I'm gonna stick with my two.
Awesome. Friends, Dolly comes out March 6th. Definitely go check it out. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. And then hopefully we'll see more of them. So
look at this. Look what's right here. That's.
I didn't. That's.
Oh my god.
That's a sign. That's a sign. You got to come and see it.
I just turned around and looked at these. Yeah. Please go see Dolly. I'd love it.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you, Victor. Appreciate it.